Welcome to my next studio talk. Here, JMC presents Studio Talk, second series, second talk, and it's the 3rd of January and 2021, and I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little bit of snow. Very little, just enough to have that wintry feeling. And I had the feeling, or I had the need to continue talking, and it's very strange, like how fast 12 minutes go. Here's the clock, I can check it, good. How fast that goes, and how much there is to say. And I myself am amazed at how easily the words flow and the thoughts with it. And but I guess I've gotten used to talking to myself, and I really do this because after Monica died, and that was in March the 18th, just before spring and just before this Corona stuff hit the fan. And so I would take long walks with Emmy, and Emmy, who used to just go out for do her business and go right back home, all of a sudden we were taking walks that were of an hour and a half into town and back. So we were walking around like about 2 hours, and things were going on in my mind all the time. So I started recording them on a smartphone, just to kind of sort out my thoughts and feelings. And at some point, I must have done about 30 of these things. There were times when I forgot the smartphone, and or the battery was low and stuff like this. And so I just started to talking, just like talking out loud, talking to Monica, in German, of course. And I always tried all variations, in French and English, and so I do this every day. I just talk, and it really helps, because otherwise I'm kind of locked into this, you know, the image of the record playing without stop, the broken record thing, and you know, always the same thoughts, always the same feelings, this, that, and the other thing. And so I've got a little bit, or rather quite a lot of experience talking to myself. And I used to think, you know, growing up in New York City, you saw a lot of weird people in the outside and on the street, people who were talking to themselves. And I think I wrote a poem once about that. That ended with, I said to myself, they must be mad. And that was supposed to be a sort of wit. And so me saying to myself, like, we're thinking, we're talking to ourselves. This is what we do the whole time. Just this, yeah. And it's like, you know, the internal version of what the media, so-called, are doing the whole time. So this is nothing new, this is nothing unusual, and like I said, it has a very positive, let's say therapeutic function, because it helps just get that stuff out, you know, talking a full sentence, putting the words in the right order, and so on and so forth, and putting one sentence after the other, which is like writing, is a form of, yes, it's a form of writing. I love to write, and I write a lot, and I've written a lot of journals intended as books. I think 4 in English, 3 in French, and starting others that are starting or just in fragmentary form. And but I find that it does me a lot more good to just talk. I feel like more human and less like a medium, or less like it's not as dry, not as abstract. And I think the voice is an important vehicle of meaning, let's call it that, or tone, music, the phrasing, all that are very, very important aspects. They also come out in the writing, but like, you know, then it's a metaphor, you know. I love reading, writing, which has a voice, where a voice comes across, where I feel like there's the energy and not just this literary work that's involved. Anyway, what did I want to say? In particular today, well, I wanted to maybe mention Monica again. This is Monica. She's in my garden. This was September a year ago, over a year ago, and this was a little bit later, where she was getting a lot thinner, and so here we were in the mountains with Emmy in Switzerland, where we had a horrible time, where she had a hard time and I had a hard time, in very beautiful surroundings. But just like now, okay, now I don't know what I should be saying. Like I said yesterday, that she was a very, very courageous person, a person who loved life, and for her every single day was not the uphill challenge that I take it to be, but it was just an opportunity to just to enjoy life. Of course, she had the means to do that, which is an important factor. It's different when like me, you don't really know where your next month's living is coming from. Although at this particular time I do know that, but it's only a matter of a few months before my source dries up, and it's very strange that my option. Yeah, this is probably what I want to say today. The option that I took as a person and as an artist is that where I live, that's the world. It starts with the house I live in with my neighbors, and it goes on into the immediate neighborhood, and then the town. And this is a small town of about 8,000 people, growing very fast because they're building like mad in every available lot, piece of ground. Nice orchards are being built up, and so on and so forth, or torn down and then built on. And so I thought, well, if I concentrate my artistic work here in Staufen, I show what I do, that this will hook up somewhere. Somebody will say, oh, that's very interesting. I have either connections, abilities, whatever. Maybe I can help you develop, evolve, advance, progress in your in the world, in the sense of, you know, I put my money into the work, into my life, and it should come back if everything goes right. But we're living in a world which is pretty much of a one-way street, or if there is a turnaround, it's far out of sight, and you have to live long enough to see it coming, and you have to keep plugging away. And what I'm doing right now is also plugging away. But anyway, living in a small German town in the provinces, therefore, maybe in this particular part of Germany, I realized that culturally the people keep to themselves. They're very distant, they're very wary, not mistrustful, or maybe yes, mistrustful. And so and Germans in general are not the people who, you know, who explode with joy like we imagine Italians doing. They are very withdrawn, and it takes a long time to get close. And anyway, apparently I haven't had the support that I really expected from my work, although the comments that I heard, the critiques are all good, except for the people, of course, who have no idea what avant-garde what avant-garde or conceptual art is about, which is, I think, what I'm into. And conceptual just means I'm not just applying skills to a particular kind of material, a particular kind of medium, but I take the medium that I need to have to say whatever it is that I want to say, to put that into a form. And this is, of course, a ticket to oblivion in a way, which means people just don't understand, they don't get it, or you know, you've done your work for years and then you finally put it into a form and you show them, and then you still have to explain it. And the whole time I'm looking at the world and doing just that. I'm, you know, distilling meaning, looking for order, patterns, regularities, things that I can identify, let's say, and assign meaning to, if not explain, understand what's going on and how. So this gambit has not worked. I'm still recognized as an artist now, but nobody seems to want to get too close to that, you know, like, this is really weird. And as far as I understand the world, nobody's alone, we're all connected, and I think time might be running out. I should have something like an hourglass